But typically around like 3 to 4, you already get a sense. So for example, PVC, if you like Google, if you do that, you say 21 leads, that's actually pretty good. If any of them potentially lead to a property under contract, then I will keep going. But if 20 leads, you're not getting anything that's promising, it's probably not a good angle anymore.
Yeah.
So you either need to have the belief that this is gonna work out and you keep tweaking the creatives or the writing until someone actually says, hey Joshua, let's make a deal happen right at the price that you said. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't continue.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for Google, I felt it was pretty unique. Like as soon as I turned it back on, it'd be like 4 hours later someone would reach out. So like
Mhm.
they were finding it, but then they're also getting Aaron Moore, they're getting SLG, they're getting Cash House or not Cash House Buyers, they're getting Luke Boreon, whatever one that is. Then mine, right? Like
Yeah. So then this all depends on who gets to them faster and
them.
yeah, their process is pretty dialed in, and that's why they're getting most of the wholesale deals right now in
So
your area. But
yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. If I were in your position, I would definitely use more handwritten notice still.
Yeah, I always keep a blue pen or a blue permanent marker in that nice paper that I had. And anytime I see a house that looks like a good one, I just pull over. Got my daughter with me. I'm like, hold on a second, run up, throw it in the mailbox.
Yeah, keep doing that. Keep doing that. And then always like I will always like write down their what do you call that? Their address,
Yep.
right? And when they reach back out, like just and you keep creating that database because you actually never know when these people are going to call back. But the biggest issue about Canadian market is that most of the information is not public. We're really shooting in the dark, and that's one thing that I always find ourselves when we're doing the marketing. It's like tax sales is the only thing that's on the market, but there's no way to find out people's tax in the rear, before they get on the market. And I had no way to make friends with people who work in the city and be willing to share that information. But if you can figure that out, then yeah, that can be a different story.
Work to even find out who the seller is because a lot of places in Oshawa are tenanted, right? So like I would do one of those quotes and someone would call me and be like, "Oh, I'm the tenant." I'm like, "Don't worry about it," because otherwise you got to compile a list of 20 to 50 houses you like, go to City Hall, sign into the kiosk, and you're not allowed to take pictures. You got to write it all down. You're committing a whole day to find out 20 owners and then mail them wherever they live. They live in Markham, they live in Whitby. And then it's like, well, it's an Ontario property that's tenanted in Oshawa. I don't want that anyway. So like, why am I mailing them? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that to me is too much effort for potentially too little return already.
like I said, I was probably just stretched too thin going for like 10 different ways to instead of focusing on, okay, does Google work for me? Does bandit signs, yeah, door knocking, whatever. But give it a good run, but just between that, the painting, fire, and trying to buy properties, and I was doing a duplex at the time, and just got a little much at home, and so I just
Yeah.
turned all the ads off.
Yeah, I was thinking that if you're able to secure like couple a year, like just for hotel, the one that you're currently doing, I think that would be pretty decent.
Great, yeah.
Yeah, that would be great already, and just keep this as steady as possible. Kind of like what we're currently doing. We're just like renovating some of the units when the tenants are turning over, but even that, they're stretching it too. Like tenants currently, like especially older tenants, they don't want to move out because the rent is so different. Okay, that's interesting. Anything else that you feel like I can help?
Not at the moment. Like until you had really brought it up, I hadn't thought too much into it about getting back into sending out whatever, maybe direct mail or knocking. So this
Okay.
one just kind of came up. I wasn't even looking. I was focusing on the Cleveland stuff, looking at that market, and it just popped up right as like probably the day after we had our meeting. I was like, oh, all right, let's put an offer. And then
Sometimes when you're not looking, that's where the best deal comes along.
yeah. So hopefully it works out. I mean, we run our numbers the way we have, but the market's still pretty
Yeah. Right now it's definitely buyer's market, so everything's slow.
yeah, it's a beautiful area and a beautiful house. I think it'll sell. It's just a matter of what we get, what we think. So
Yeah. Another thing is like if you want to do this, definitely not. You shouldn't be buying anything on the market because when people can see that what you're purchasing for, it's really not going to sell too well.
yeah. So what we did is we just prepaid our land transfer tax. So if you look it up on Geo Warehouse, it's not up there yet. It should be in like 2 weeks. It'll just say Premier Home Buyers bought it for $2. So
That's awesome. Mifa, this one is more like a unique deal, by the way. It's off market. We can hide the price, and then we're just doing some like really quick cleanup. Make it more like a presentable, and then list it on the market right away. Any extensive renovation right now, investors may not be able to get the money back. So you're definitely smart with that approach.
I'm seeing that right now with a couple out there that I've talked to at events, and they're like, "I wish I just got it like livable."
Yeah.
things in Oshawa, or well, I'm specifically speaking about Oshawa because that's my market, but anything over like 750 to over 800 is not selling like the high end product.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the pre-approvals are coming in at 650, 750. So we're not, we thought about it. We're like, okay, there's a big spread on this. We can get close to a mil for it if we reconfigure and make. I'm like, I'm not, no.
No, don't risk it.
Yeah, I'll take the quick 30 for a month. And
Yeah. Like Nicole is also doing a flip in Hamilton right now. Her purchase price was like I think 400 or 410. She did a little bit more extensive renovation, but when I say extensive, I'm nothing crazy. It's like painting, flooring, half a new kitchen, and added one bathroom. But now she's listing for 599. First day on the listings is draw like three showings arranged, and now we're in the second day, so I need to check the data. But yeah, I feel like that one can probably go for like hopefully like 625 to 650.
yeah,
If he does that, she's gonna do well. But that project still took again like when you're doing that kind of renovation, that is it's like 4 months in. Sorry, 4 months in until currently I think 2.5 months. But I don't expect that to close immediately. It's probably going to be another 2 months. So we're looking at 4.5, possibly 5 months for almost the same amount of profit that we're talking about here.
we're 9 days in and I'm ready to be done.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That would be a good win.
I hope so. Honestly, be nice, just a little cushion for Cleveland. So
Yeah.
we'll reinvest it, like you said, do maybe a little off market stuff. But what about you? What do you guys got going on?
We're still working on that 7 union, by the way.
Oh,
We're
really?
going back and forth. Yeah.
What happened? Because I thought the sellers needed to close on another property by like June 2nd or something.
That's based on the middleman, right? Like those are the messages from the wholesaler or and the property manager, and we just feel like they're being way too pushy at the end. That right through because sometimes the deal will come back this way. We'll see what happens. That one, I still find that if we can turn like change the rent from like 950-ish all the way to like because like section 8 over there is going up to 1360 or something like that.
For a 2 or 3 bed, because I know I don't know what they classify it as a 3 with that weird walk through the bathroom.
As long as we can put which I didn't check actually, as long as each bedroom has its own closet, it's gonna classify as 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens with that one.
Chatting with Roman about that one, and I guess I'm just confused on how I'm so used to thinking of commercial financing up here, where so you bought that for whatever 450, and then you're raising the rents. Felt like there should be a science, like a mathematical equation to get you to your refinance, right? But it seemed like it was more like we hope to get this, but like shouldn't it be an exact like you're like I'm going out this cap rate with this rent increase and this NOI increase and do the math, and shouldn't it technically be worth that? But it's not. It's like
Yeah.
does it work with multifamily in the US? Like
the appraiser is very inconsistent with all the lenders. That's also another thing that we're finding. Let's put it this way: like you're 100% right. Like the way you describe the Ohio market, but like you feel like you travel back in time.
yeah,
That's exactly how you felt, right? Because all the stuff that we have in Ontario, standardized processing, all that stuff, right? This all kind of came out around like 2016 to 2018. Like the technology and all that stuff started becoming a lot more streamlined. Even the Ontario lease agreement, I think it got established around like 2017. Prior to that, we all have our own lease agreement before, right? So it just got way better because the surge of demand forced the changes for the real estate board, right? And then everybody just want to have that kind of a predictability. In Ohio, it doesn't feel that way at all. Two ways to look at this. One is just that usually when the market that's still not hasn't caught that much of attention, sometimes you're going to get those type of situation, right? If everything's streamlined, it wouldn't be at that price anymore. Like I was talking to Jet I was talking to Alice. Alice was one of the members that I helped out like a while ago. She's now in Florida, and then she's looking at some properties over there. I'm just like, it's actually crazy that the market is so different over there compared to Ohio. Like it's very, very different. Yeah, and then when she's pulling the data, I see how she's doing everything. I'm just like, wow, like the data is a lot more transparent. A lot of things are just more streamlined. But the only thing that I still can't wrap my head around is that you see properties on that's worth like $1 to $4 million in one block. You can literally walk over to the other side, and it becomes like 400K. 100K. And I'm just like, yeah, that part is still very weird to me.
I'm still interested, but it would be nice to obviously run Cleveland dry until it doesn't make sense anymore. And then I don't know, like eventually I feel like everywhere is gonna run its course. Like Canada is. You used to be able to go to Saskatchewan, even that's getting pricey.
Yeah, I was very surprised to see Manitoba going for like 100K.
It's just not affordable anywhere. Eventually, where do you move? Where do you live?
One of the things that I feel like moving forward, the future of real estate in North America is really going to be still affordable housing. I think even though like there's a discussion about like the Section 8, like cutting the budget, it's really just like cutting the budget from like moving the budget from the federal into the local county. So there's a lot of discussion, but I find that where the money is still going to be in affordable. And this is my trend of thoughts. I'm very big on AI application right now. Like literally everything that we're doing within our company, I try to think about what would be the tools that we can potentially use to streamline and speed up the process. The marketing side, the sales side, the QC. We're using the QC code review for a lot of codes that we have right now. Because I want to make sure that it's consistent. But later on, the new thing that's going to happen is going to be AI agent, right? So what I'm trying to say is with the AI that's coming in here is actually going to, in my opinion, disrupt a lot of industries. Anything that requires that will fulfill that basic needs is going to be probably not as, I guess there's not going to be as much impact on those type of stuff until much later. So real estate I think is okay, but if you think about the entire industry, if we're still losing people, like people are being laid off in tech world, in different like the different the financing, all that stuff, right? If people start getting cut, what's going to happen next is that there's going to be more people, like unemployment rate is going to go up, which means government, when they're looking at everything, they probably will need to give out more funding, which means I think the growing industry in the next 5 to 10 years is no longer Airbnb. Airbnb was such a good wave as we're getting out of COVID, but after that, this wave I feel like is about to run out. The next thing I really feel like is going to be something to do with affordability, and that's why co-living, this type of concept will become more and more popular. Like this is actually my prediction for the future real estate. So as long as we can find ways to get into a real estate that can fulfill this type of needs moving forward in a decent location. I'm not talking about premium location. I feel like going forward, this type of housing, if the demand continue to grow over the next like few years, if the rent continue to grow over the next few years, these are the type of properties that will continue to increase. Yeah, so that's sort of my thinking to go to sort of target the next like 5 year plan for my portfolio. I want to get into as many real estate asset in that class as possible, right? And obviously, BRRRR and all that stuff, it will still work because we got so many properties that are like super old. Make sure that it's within our comfort level, right? Like we're not touching like anything too crazy, just like yeah, like exactly what you're currently doing at this moment.
Is anyone in the group had a successful flip in the last 2 months that's like selling now or sold or going to be coming for sale soon?
In Cleveland?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because the biggest issue, and I was talking to, was it Jet or Mujang? It might be Mujang actually. Mujang, like I had a multiple like individual conversation today. So I find that the US buyers are hopping on those type of flip project a lot faster than anybody else, like especially in Canada compared to like Canadian investor. And when I think about the reasoning behind it is because all these people know how to cut their labor cost completely. Whereas if you think about that, when we're handling the flip, we're thinking about how to hire, for example, Kyle, Douglas, or some other people like locally. And then when we're really thinking about their labor cost, their markup, their all that stuff, right? Then it's really squeezing into our margin. So the only way to actually make that work is then we have to buy right, which also means deals that get brought in by either Caleb or Irwin now also needs to be like now that chew into the margin as well. Any flip project, I just find that the US buyer will probably pull the trigger faster than any of us do in this room. Okay, and that's just my observation, my honest opinion. We can try to do it, but then we gotta be doing exactly what you're doing right now, or last year, which is finding sourcing that off market deal, which we can definitely show people exactly like how we do it. But in order for us to flip it, we almost need to do that ourselves, so that we can create more room for ourselves to hire hire people to finish the renovation and then list it for sale.
So what would you say the majority are trying to do right now or are doing?
So comfort level wise, 1 to 2 units, but 1 to 2 units, we just need to like kind of reduce the expectation that it's not going to be home run deal. I still like the six unit above, right? Play with the cap rate. It's easier renovation, more room for try and error, right? And then try to increase the rent. If you hold on to it a little bit longer, it's okay because over time we're gonna find the right lender, right appraiser company, and then just get that new appraised value right. And then once we can do that, then we can pull the capital out. That's the model that I like. Just keep it very simple, and don't try to do anything too creative. But where we do the creative side is on the sourcing the deal. That's why like you guys see being very transparent with our collaboration with Erwin. We're now the growth partner for him. And part of the reason is because I know that I cannot fix certain fixed costs, which is renovation costs, project management costs. If we can't do it ourselves, like that's the money that we have to pay out to other people. So I'd rather control the asset class, control the purchase price. We can control these two. The rest, leave it to the local boots on the ground team. It's okay.
Makes sense. I like the idea of going into the multifamily space. It's like you said, it's a longer hold, right? You're 2-3 years just to be certain that you can stabilize it and then reposition and refinance. So if it's a good project.
I think it's shorter than 2-3 years. We're thinking about 2-3 years because we're using the standard here. My multifamily building here, like really always like took like more than 2 years to deal with anything, especially in today's market, it's even harder. Yeah, tenancy turnover is one thing, right? Everything is slow in Canada, let's put it this way. But in the States, at least I know as soon as the lease ends, it hits a benchmark or milestone where I can try to off the rent or restructure this. If I can do something differently, I might actually just go negotiate with the tenants. Like I do a lot in like for our Canadian properties. It's like I ask them, hey, what can I do for you? To like what are the things that you would like me to improve, right? And I'm gonna try to do a little bit more than that, but in return, are you able to also help me with the rent? What is it that you can actually afford, right? So I use that to renegotiate the rent quite a bit, but the moment that you hit someone that doesn't want to sort of budge, then you're really tied up with that tenant or that rent for a long time. And the best we can do is at 2.2% or 2 point whatever percent.
So are you writing off Ontario entirely for multifamily or just unless something amazing comes along?
I wouldn't do it.
No?
Yeah, couple reasons. One is right now I definitely find that it's overpriced, right? And the rent, usually real estate cycle goes this way, right? So when real estate goes up, everybody buys. Like if you look at just a history of the trend, both goes upwards over time, like uptrend over time. But then you see the real estate going this way, but you see the rent goes the other way. So when everybody's buying, interest rate is low, everybody's buying, rent will drop a little bit. When you hit that plateau and then real estate started dipping a little bit, now nobody's buying, then the rent will go up. Condo market is a little bit different because condo market is there's a lot more inventory out there. But for detached home, if you look at all the data, it always goes a little bit like opposite. Like there's a time delay. So when I'm looking at multifamily space, the biggest issue right now is that we're already in the buyer's market. More and more people, renters who feel like, okay, now is the time to get in. They wouldn't be renting anymore. So we push super hard on the 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom rent to, let's say even $2,000 right now. Some people might look at it right now and be like, okay, I'm going to try to acquire a property, at 750K, for example. I'm going to do a bit of work and that's going to be a house that I call home in the future. You're going to start losing these type of people to acquire those type of properties. So I don't foresee the rent projection to continue to go up year after year. And the moment that you have a dip in rent, guess what? Like it affects the evaluation of the entire multifamily building. Okay, so that's one risk. Now the second risk that I'm seeing here is that how much longer can CMHC, MLI, like 95% long-term value program, can they still have the exact same term 5 to 10 years from now? Like people who leverage that program right now, if that program is no longer available in 10 years or in 5 years, what are they going to do when they need to renew the mortgage, right? They have to sell or they have to put more money back into the property. I play with these two variables and I'm just like, is that better or is it just going to like more affordable market? And Cleveland, I'm not emotional attached to that city, like just being very upfront. It's a place where I see the opportunities right now. But moving forward, if there's a more market that makes me feel like, okay, there's a better chance to grow my portfolio, I will also pivot as well. It's just a nice stepping stone to get into that market.
And are you only looking in Cleveland at the multifamily stuff, or have you kind of scoped out a few other areas?
Okay, great question. So multifamily stuff is by the way, I used to never look at Cleveland. I used to look at Columbus the most, Cincinnati. And then Cleveland right now is the one. But to answer your question, right now I only focus on that for multifamily space. But I'm constantly exploring different markets. So North Carolina is definitely another one that I've been paying a lot more attention to lately. We're gonna need to monitor because of the California issue, right? A lot of people will definitely want to like kind of move again. And then I think Texas is going to be still the popular spot for them. But yeah, North Carolina I would say is where I pay a lot more attention because I see that the house price, the opportunities over there, even the weather and all that stuff seems to be pretty decent. It's kind of like Florida 5 to 8 years ago type of thing.
Yeah. I was just curious if there's anywhere else other than Ohio. But yeah, I think I was talking to, maybe it was you or Roman that was saying the property taxes are high. And is that as a whole, or is it just like Houston, Dallas, Austin, or is it as a whole?
2.5x of Ontario tax rate. North Carolina is actually very nice.
Yeah, and I heard Atlanta is like an awesome market.
Super expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe was, yeah.
Like obviously, depending on how much more information and things that we're doing, this can change. But this type of thought flow has formed quite a long time already, like a few months already. Well, so not a long time, but like a few months that I feel like okay, this is based on my observation. Things are trending this way. So the goal here, very simple, is still let's find a way to get in, get comfortable with it, get some cash flow. Because the truth is, outside of this area, if you look at anywhere else, number definitely won't work. If we can't even make the number work in Cleveland, like anywhere else won't work. Yeah.
I guess my only concern with the multifamily, like apartment, when I say multifamily, I'm talking about apartments, is if you have a two or three bedroom unit, why wouldn't they take their Section 8 and go to a house in that same neighborhood? Why would they go to apartment?
That's 100% correct, right? That's a valid concern. That's why like when we're doing the apartment building, like when I look at like 1300, 1400, I never actually use that as my reference point. It's up to 1300, 1400, but you're probably getting to like 1200,
Yeah.
1250. But when it comes to a row house, that's where I feel a lot more confident. So the 7 unit building, like we'll see in the next few weeks.
What's the holdup on that one? Like financing or?
Yeah, and also like just not getting enough responses from the seller. They're also exploring the options too.
When you're looking at an apartment building, what's your sweet spot? Like, do you want a building that's all 2 beds? Do you want ones and twos, or do you want all threes? Do you want?
I don't have preference, to be honest.
I like that's why I was just asking earlier about why would, like, is there something you would pick? Because that's all that you, like, maybe that area has no 2 bedroom homes, so they're going to rent your 2 bedroom apartment. But if there's 3 bedroom homes in the neighborhood, why would they rent your 3 bedroom apartment when you can rent the house for the same price?
For sure. Yeah.
Is it better to go with 2 beds and then a couple singles, or?
Yeah, and also keep in mind that people are looking for different things too, right? I also agree with that, but just so you know, I grew up in an area like back in Taiwan. Man, I've never seen a detached home. So when we first moved to Canada, like when I got into detached home, I thought there was a lot of work, and that was when I was in high school, obviously. But like I'm just like now I had to like mow the lawn. I need to do like a bunch of different stuff, right? So
Sure.
it's a very different mindset.
The people who have the vouchers, though, do they get the leniency to be picky about where they live?
They're very low. I noticed that just based on the conversation I had with a lot of people with the Section 8 stuff, right? I think they focus more on the location more. I just find that the voucher is very location based. If they a certain type of tenancy, if they want to move into, it's everything to do with their work location, and they want to be as close as possible, type of thing.
That's fair, but how much demand is there? Like if the first potential tenant says, no, I'd rather live in a house. The second tenant says, I'd rather live in a house. Is there not going to be a lineup of at least tenant number 3 or 4, or is there?
Good question, and that's a good data to look into. If I can dig into a little bit more, because if people are lining up for a specific type of a housing, if the demand for 3 bedroom home is way higher than 3 bedroom apartment, let's say in a prime location, and they're okay with drive or take the transportation, we probably need to avoid the prime location and try to always go for maybe 10-15 minutes away 3 bedroom home for those type of tenants. Okay, guys, thanks for hanging out with me, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week.